Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dan Cairns of Porquis Junction. I want to bring to you a situation that's happening all across Canada, especially Ontario, where our local Canada Post thinks that they can just come into a community and set up mailboxes on dangerous corners or set them up on any street that's possible without the thinking of the municipality where to put these boxes or what people think about having their history of their places, especially in Northern Ontario, taken away. Now, this story that I'm about to tell you is going on right now in a little town called Porquis Junction, Ontario, Canada, Northern Ontario, Canada, which is about an hour northeast of Timmins, Ontario. This community is about 100 people plus. It's been around since 1916, 1917 is what the blog says here. The community has had this post office here in Porquis Junction for the last 100 years plus. Well before my time. Probably yours. Now, it's very sad that this little community has not only got history here, ladies and gentlemen. It not only has history, but there's still people of the community who live here, who are elderly. We haven't been here this long, my wife and I, but in the year or so that we have been here, the community is very knit community. We all stick together pretty much. We say hi to one another as we're passing on the streets. If we meet at our local little post office here in Porquis Junction, the only one there is, 4 kilometers, 5 kilometers from Indigenous Falls, Ontario. If I said the name right, I always have a problem with that. It's part of my handicap. You have not only seniors, but elderly people who live in this community, but you also have the heritage of the community. You have disabled people that live here. And a lot of people across Canada don't realize, especially Ontario, does not realize that we as disabled people or seniors or the elderly of the communities have rights. Especially in this circumstance that's that we're fighting for, to keep our little community together. It wasn't up till last week that we actually had a mayor for our community. The roads here in Porquis Junction are very rough and full of potholes. It could cause somebody to trip and fall in them because the roads ain't maintained properly. Either the ones in Indigenous Falls, especially by a Tim Hortons. Very deep potholes. You're looking at potholes that could be a foot deep. That is known to break struts and springs and lower ball joints and tie rods of a cars if they're not paying attention when they drive down the street. The neglect that has been stowed upon the people of Porquis Junction here is unreal, ladies and gentlemen. And I mean unreal. The mental stress and anguish that has been also stowed upon here in Porquis Junction of the closure and the hardship it's going to cause for our local community post office, the only one within 4 to 5 kilometers, to close. Now, we have people here in our community that is also blind, and some don't drive. So the Canada Post figures that they can come into this community and set up community mailboxes on the side of the roadway where we get minus 34, minus 40, minus 45 and up in temperature drops in the wintertime. The snowbanks are piled 20 feet high at some point in time. Depends on the amount of snow. Just piling up the snow is going to be a challenge. So the elderly, as well as the handicapped people here and the seniors, rely on our local post office. So what you're going to have is people walking up the road that has heart conditions, which I have a heart condition as well. I've died 3 times on the table for surgery. I've been in and out of hospitals because of my heart. I can tell you that. But I'm not the only one here. I guess I do have a heart if I'm caring about our community, our small knit 100+ people that share this post office every week. The cries that go out, and people say now, oh, you can't fight Canada Post. And I told them, I said, sorry, folks, but you're wrong. You're wrong. Because we have laws that protect us being disabled. Under our Human Rights Act, underneath the Ontario Disability Act, underneath the Seniors Act, the well-being and welfare of people of the community. And by trying to close this, it's causing mental stress, mental anguish. It's also classified as prejudice. Now, I'm not very good at talking here, ladies and gentlemen, but I can actually tell you that the laws that protect us people with disabilities and being seniors and elderly of the community are being violated. Now, I might be only one person of the community, but I hear cries every day, worrying these elderly people that could cause them to have a heart attack by putting boxes up. And Canada Post out of Timmins, and I must say, the lady that I talked to today, okay, is Nikki St. George. And her number is 705-474-3156. She thinks that she is God. I'm a minister, and I know for a fact that she isn't God, ladies and gentlemen. These laws protect us. And by her telling me that this post office is going to shut down and ignoring our cries, we weren't even asked. We were not asked what our opinions were. It didn't matter. And I'm going to play something for you here very shortly of a conversation that her and I had this morning on October the 13th, 2020 at around 9:30 a.m. You know, and she wants to say that we have no rights as a human being. Now, it's not just Porquis Junction in Ontario, Canada, that's having a problem with Canada Post doing what they think they can do. Do we have a lawyer on this? Not yet. Not yet. But we would like to hear from one. I would like to hear from a lawyer who would be kind enough in their heart to take on this litigation. Multi-million-dollar lawsuit. And I think everybody in the community that uses that post office up there, up the street, should be entitled to something for pain and suffering, for starters. I'm not sure who to turn to, but this is a cry for help for a lawyer. Who out there that's a lawyer could help us on this? I've contacted our MP, Charlie Angus's office. I've talked to Dale at extension 205 in Charlie Angus's office and in North Bay in regards to this. So they're quite aware. I've talked to the Enterprise newspaper in Indigenous Falls, who said that council voted against these two people in regards to closing down our post office. Now, it's a conflict, and I really don't care who's at fault here. It sure isn't the victims of a Porquis Junction. We are the victims here. And the discriminatory action that has been taken from us and towards me for standing up for people's rights is not going to fly. Now, I'm not sure if I can charge this individual, this person from Canada Post, who's supposed to be a mediator on this, which wasn't no mediator, who was telling me that this is what they're going to do. And basically, it was an up yours thing. You know, we don't care about the people of the community. We don't care, as you guys will hear in a minute, they don't care about the people of the community. They don't care about laws that governor around us of being barrier-free as handicapped people. They don't care about the human rights. They don't care about the well-being of the seniors or the elderly here. They don't care if it causes an accident where they could slip and fall. They don't care. They just want to put mailboxes out where, sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I dropped my glasses. They don't care if people die or get severely hurt of where they put the mailboxes. Now, they put the mailboxes on the west side of the road across from the post office. The edge of the blacktop, which is very, very badly deranged and all broken up from over the years of neglect of not having it paved here, is full of holes, bumps, whatever. The company that put it in was from North Bay, who's had the contract to put these mailboxes where they're told to put them. Now, I'm going to be real here because I have nothing to hide as a disabled person. But if you're going to take out mailboxes and stuff like that, people cannot get around as good as you can in a city or a town to be in walking distance. But you figure, you got minus 35 degree weather, minus 40. It's hard to breathe out there on a nice crispy day at the best of times, or when the snow's blowing so hard that you can't see 2 feet in front of you. And you want these elderly people, handicapped people, and seniors to walk up a street, to go to a mailbox where it's hard enough for them to breathe, and stick their key into a frozen slot where they're not going to get their mail, and they don't even have the chance of warming up, going as they would going into our local post office. Now, I've talked to the lady from the post office, and I brought this up, and she says she wants to stay open for the people of this community of Porquis Junction. But here we got Canada Post once again trying to pass the buck off to the councillors, who I think was forced by Canada Post into helping them on this ridiculous idea of closing down a post office that's been in the community for over 100 years. It's historical, as well as our other land sites around here is historical. The lady that runs the post office told me that she puts out of her own pocket $400 a year for insurance to have the post office in her residence, where people can come, go in the middle of winter, and at least get warmed up before they start their journey home. Well, now that's going to end as of October the 30th, is what I understood. That it's going to be taken out, ladies and gentlemen. Is this right? So, if you're listening to this live stream, please give me a thumbs up. Let me know your comments. Is it right that Canada Post thinks they own the world, that they're over top of the federal and provincial government? No, it's not right. And I sit here amongst you today talking to you about something that is serious. It not only affects me or my wife, it affects everybody in Ontario, in Canada. We have rights, and our rights have been violated. Our rights have been extremely, I can't stress it enough, in violation from Canada Post. And this next one you're going to hear, because I'm going to play it here very shortly. It's a very short video, our voice recording from Nikki St. George from Timmins, Ontario. And you can hear in her voice and in my voice how they feel and our concerns. And this lady, Nikki St. George, at 705-474-3156 is the number, has no care in the world that people themselves, she don't care about people. And she's in apparently it's half owned by government, half owned by somebody private. Now, if you don't mind, I am going to be unplugging my ear set here, leaving my mic in, and I'm going to be turning on my speakers, ladies and gentlemen, so you can hear this. You make the assumption yourself. If I'm not right, you know, and it starts with prejudice. And I hope somebody gets this and shares the living daylights out of this video. Not just to help us here, but to help your own community and know what your rights are, ladies and gentlemen. 1 second. And I'm going to play this for you, ladies and gentlemen, so you can hear it. This is the voice between Nikki St. George and myself, Daniel Cairns here from Porquis Junction. In a conversation dispute as of this morning at 9:30 a.m. One second, ladies and gentlemen, it's coming. Oh, did I unplug the wrong one? I hope I didn't. 1 second. 1 second.